Hey folks, I am going to show you how to do a beaded short row motif for leg 3 of the Pennsylvania Road Trip Mystery Shawl. And what I have here, I have already done the first row of the short row motif because it is identical to the first row of the plain motif. So I have knit down, made my double stitch, purled back, and made my double stitch. And so now I'm ready to start placing beads. So I am using size 8 beads because in these motifs, the beads are in very close proximity to one another. And I have beads strung on a dental floss threader. I find this to be an easier way to do it. So I'm going to slip the threader into the stitch, and now I'm going to slide the bead down onto the tip and pull it off the needle so that I can pull it down onto the stitch. And I put that stitch back on the left hand needle because now I am going to go ahead and knit that stitch. In the pattern it says knit bead, and I really do mean it. You put the bead on the stitch and then you knit the stitch. So we're going to knit bead, knit one, and then we're going to knit bead again. Oops. I have done beads with a crochet hook. I have a bird who likes to pick up beads. So it's better for me if my beads are on a string rather than in a bowl or on a little tray. Also, with the smaller beads, the crochet hook doesn't necessarily it doesn't pull through very well because the hole is smaller. So there I placed a bead and I knit that stitch. And I'm going to knit another stitch. And then one more bead. I'll do this one in front because So here, I know it's hard to see the detail there. I should bring it up closer to the camera, huh? Over here. Okay, so I'm sliding the bead down onto the stitch, removing that threader, and knitting that stitch with the bead. And then I'm going to knit one more. Now I'm going to knit my double stitch, and I'm going to knit 2 stitches after the double stitch. And that sets me up to make my next double stitch. So I'm going to turn my work, slip the stitch, pull the yarn tight, and bring it around front so I can purl. And now I'm going to purl 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and make a double stitch. So the yarn goes to the front. I'm gonna slip my stitch, tug on that yarn to make the double stitch, and now I'm ready to go. Now here on this next row, I'm going to actually knit a stitch first and then place my bead. So this offsets the beads a little bit. So there is a differentiation. You're offsetting the beads on every other row. There we go. Slip that right through, down onto the stitch, get the threader out of the way, knit the bead, knit the next stitch, and do another bead. So I used to do crochet hooks for the beads all the time, and then I wanted to work on a project with beads in the car, and that made me really nervous. And some helpful person on Ravelry told me about these dental floss threaders, and I thought that was pretty nifty. All right, I'm going to do one more bead. Okay, so that got 3 beads on. Now I'm going to knit my double stitch, knit another stitch and another one, and that has me ready to make my double stitch and work back across the row. So here we go. So as you can see, this one is very similar to the one that we did that was just plain in the other video. It's just a matter of whether you want to add a little shimmer to your ocean waves or sparkle with some beads. I'm going to go ahead and knit ahead, and I will show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, so I have gone all the way across and done all my repeats, and you can see I have some nice shimmering little beads in here. These are just to give a little sparkle to our waves. You can make a bigger impression by using higher contrast beads, or you can let them be really subtle by using something very similar in color to your yarn. Whatever your preference is. But as you can see, the beads are very close together, and you'll want to make sure that you stick with smaller beads for this section because of how close together they are.